And we are up and ready to go. Mets fans, it is opening day. Finally, after a horrendous offseason, a putrid lockout, the Mets are playing meaningful baseball games starting tonight. I am so pumped up. I cannot wait to see what this season will have in store for the team in Queens. I'm so excited to get into this prolonged pregame stream that we'll be doing here on the channel today, folks. So if you're watching replay, I probably cut it shorter than what we're doing because we're doing basically the stream probably upwards until the Mets game is going to start. Then I'll be live again right after today's Mets game for post-game coverage, including key highlights, analysis, and all that fun stuff, hopefully after a Mets win. But I'm really pumped up. I know you guys are too. Firstly, I want from every single person chiming in the live stream outside to smash that like and subscribe button. As always, is to show me how hyped up you guys are for the season in the chat right now. If you're watching this on replay, let me know in the comments too. But still, very excited. Pre-game streams are something that won't be terribly common throughout the season here on the channel, but especially given that it's opening day, it just felt warranted. I have plenty to discuss on this opening series for the Mets. I know that you guys do too. But before I go any further, I want to shout out everyone first chiming into the live stream here to my 100+ viewers. I see Ryan, I see Ron, Keanu, how's it going? Ethan, Jason, Jonathan, Joe, Anthony, Darren, great subscriber and member on the channel, great friend of mine, Wilson, John, Dolores, Pokemon, Brandon, Kevin, Berry Lover, Dirty Dancer, Wilson, Joe, Josh Daniels. Let's go down the list further here. Kevin, how's it going? John Infante, how's it going? I apologize if I said your name wrong. Brandon, great member on the channel. David, Anthony, to go. All you guys, thank you all so much for being here. Hayden, Dominic, appreciate every single one of you. Like I said, we have a lot to get into today, but more than anything else, I just want to see some hype in the chat first. I think that's warranted. Sai, how's it going? Great member on the channel, my guy Matthew. Michael, how's it going? Elf, GM to you too. Jordan, everybody first chiming in. Let's just soak it in and appreciate this for what it is, folks. The New York Mets play a real baseball game today. They pushed the time. It was originally supposed to be 4 p.m. Eastern to now it's 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Tyler McGill, a man who I didn't even want the Mets to necessarily have in their rotation to start the year. Nothing against McGill. I was just hoping that they would have enough depth, and they were. But of course, given injuries and things like that, McGill is slotted to start tonight, and I'm really pumped up for him. I think he's going to be an X factor for the Mets this year. And one of my hot takes is I think McGill is going to continue to pave the way where he stays in the Mets rotation, where they simply don't have an option but to keep him in the rotation because of how consistent and well he will pitch this season. I'm excited for him. I'm really happy for him too that he's given this opportunity opening day. And against a team like the Nationals, this is a perfect way to kind of start the season with having a really unproven pitcher on the mound for the Mets in the sense of sample size. He showed a lot of promise in his first handful of starts last season. But again, this is a new year, similar to David Pearson, and Pearson isn't on the active roster for the Mets now. He's part of their taxi squad. We'll get into the roster breakdown, all that fun stuff. But this is going to be a massive matchup. Awesome first series for the Mets. I will be in attendance to tomorrow's game, so I will be vlogging the game with Scherzer on the mound, and he is officially going to be starting this Friday, folks, in case you're wondering. So I'm very pumped up for that. I'll be in attendance, so this is going to be a late night for me, an early drive tomorrow. Going out of town, of course, I'll be at the game. There is a slim possibility I will even do a post-game coverage tomorrow, depending on if I can get my setup nice, where I'll be staying. So that is yet to be determined, but a vlog will definitely be made tomorrow and will probably come out sometime on Saturday. We'll be doing post-game after Saturday's game, post-game after Sunday's game as well, all that fun stuff. So a lot to get into. Again, I'm very excited. Shout out everyone here in the live stream. Make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. If you guys, too, are excited for the season, if you guys are excited for consistent coverage here at WardyNYM, all throughout the year where you're getting post-game coverage, pre-game coverage on certain occasions like this, individual video content, and so much more. And I know that Chris Paddock did get traded, so he doesn't hold true in the video that I had from yesterday or the day before, just in the sense of him still being an option for the Mets. I'm aware of that, but still, overall, very excited today. I hope you guys are too. We got a lot to get into. So I figured, guys, let's start off by me putting a poll here in the live stream. Let's start off with that. That's always fun. We're already halfway to 100 likes. Thank you guys so much for that. Whoever becomes the 100th like, let me know. I'll give you a big shout out in the chat as always. But let's put a poll here in the live stream real quick before we go any further. Get a poll up there in the live stream for you guys. Okay, so shout out everybody. Let's get into it. Let's start off by talking about what the Mets are doing in tonight's game. It's been announced. I have both of them next to me, and you see here for the Mets at least, the Mets lineup. Let's start with the Nationals lineup and what they are going to bring to the Mets, not just in this game, but throughout this series for the most part in this 4-game set in DC. We have Cesar Hernandez, the former Philadelphia Phillies, what I know him best for at least. He gets lead off for the Nationals at second base, and Juan Soto, because Juan Soto, the best player in baseball, arguably, and the 2-hole there in right field. Nelson Cruz, who I would have loved on the Mets as a DH option. He signed with DC on a multi-year deal. He is in the 3-hole to help out Soto and give some more depth in the top of the lineup. Then Josh Bell at first base is batting number 4 for the Nationals. Number 5 is Keibert Ruiz, the stud young catcher they acquired in the Max Scherzer and Trey Turner deal with the LA Dodgers last season, along with Josiah Gray, who will be pitching against Max Scherzer tomorrow, as a matter of fact. Then we have Lane Thomas playing in left field. At third base, we have another Mets killer that we have here for a reason, that being Maikel Franco. I have a lot to talk about regarding Franco here very soon. And then we have Alcides Escobar batting 8th at shortstop. Used to be with the Royals. We know him by now. And Victor Robles, who's had some inconsistent seasons the past couple of years, gets the 9th spot starting at center field, along with Patrick Corbin, the veteran southpaw, gets the opening day start for the Nationals. I'm going to get to some donations here in a second, folks, but I did want to go over the Mets lineup quick. Before I do that, there's a Heyman tweet. I'll check on that soon, regardless on what it is, of course. Appreciate everyone being in here again, guys. But the Mets lineup today, not maybe what you initially were expecting to start the season. You got, of course, Starling Marte is batting leadoff. He will be playing in the corner outfield today, but he is getting leadoff, something that I'm very much in favor for any game, especially that Nimmo is not playing. Nimmo, there is still uncertainty if he may play tonight or not. He was going to test out his neck pre-game. He's been dealing with neck stiffness, took a cortisone shot over the past couple of days, managed to be off of the IL, which is great. But again, who knows exactly how serious that injury is? It's always going to be concerning for me when it comes to Nimmo and his neck. I say don't push anything if you don't have to. I don't really love the matchup with Nimmo and Corbin tonight either. So either way, I'm fine if Nimmo's in the lineup or if he isn't personally. Marte at leadoff with that amazing speed, making his Mets debut. Second spot, something that probably comes as a surprise to many of you, and we got a lot of donations. Thank you all so much for that. I'll be getting to all of them very shortly. I appreciate the support, everybody. JD Davis, guys, we have him here as a key matchup today because he has a .862 slugging against Patrick Corbin in his career. He's had 3 to 4 home runs. He has just been an absolute Patrick Corbin killer. He's quite literally his father. So the Mets are banking on that, knowing how well that matchup has been throughout JD's career facing off against the southpaw. He gets in the 2-hole tonight. And yeah, normally I wouldn't be necessarily in love with the idea of JD as the main DH spot over Dom Smith, or even Robinson Cano sometimes, but I'd still probably prefer JD there. But given the matchup, it just makes perfect sense to have JD in the 2-hole and, of course, at the DH position. Love that. Francisco Lindor at short. No one should be surprised. Big year coming for Lindor, I promise you. Pete Alonso, another guy to keep an eye on, not just because he's Pete Alonso, but because he does have an .800 slugging throughout his career against Corbin as well. So if we see any hangers coming down the way on the off-speed pitches, those breaking balls from Corbin dead center, I find it hard to believe that Pete Alonso is not going to take that dead center and return. Then we have Eduardo Escobar at the third base position, Robbie Cano at second base, because Mark Canha will be playing in center where normally we would see Nimmo, and Jeff McNeil's a little bit of a surprise will be at that left field spot today with James McCann at the starting catcher. I'm sorry, Tomas Nido deserved to get the opening day over McCann. I understand why McCann, they will say, is still the better catcher to a certain extent, has a heftier contract, but Nido outplayed McCann in every which way in spring, and I felt he was deserving for at least the opening game, so that he isn't coming in now. I hope he gets at least one start out of the 4 here in this DC series. Would really like if it was split 50-50 between the two, if I'm being honest, but either way, hope to see Nido soon. He really proved himself well in spring. I think that is definitely something to take into consideration, and happy opening day to you too, Thomas. I appreciate that, but again, Pete Alonso, JD Davis, key guys keep an eye on today for the Mets side of things. I'm going to address some donations now, and then we'll go forward, folks. And Jeff McNeil, yes, I know that he isn't necessarily the most ideal outfield fit, but if you're looking for a guy that is, one, the best bat available, as long as McNeil performs to what we know McNeil can do, and 2, is one of, if not the most athletic, McNeil's right up there. Yes, Jankowski's a better fit potentially in left, but is Jankowski going to give you more offensive production than, say, someone like McNeil in game 1 tonight? I'm not sure. They're both lefty bats. They both have a little bit of a challenge there against Corbin, and I'm going to take the guy who's been deemed up going into last season as arguably the best second baseman in baseball. So McNeil, I'm perfectly fine and left for today, as long as this isn't necessarily a reoccurring theme throughout the season, given we have no clue how Cano is going to look at second, even though I'm not awfully concerned, especially for an opening day game. Not a big deal. But let's get to some donations. Thank you so much, David, for the $5 donate. I appreciate that. Hype in the shot for David with the $5 donation. Just a little donation to support the channel. Super hyped about the season. Me too. Also, mad respect to you and how much you've grown. You are a real one. No, you are a real one, David. I really appreciate that. Donations go such a long way. We do this for a living. You know, I'm going to be doing this for a living all throughout the season because of things like this. So trust me when I say your support goes way beyond what you could even imagine and how it impacts me. And thank you so much again, my friend. Let's go Mets. Big day today for sure. Another donation here from Ryan. Thank you so much for the $2 donation there from Ryan. I'm going to the Mets Nats game Sunday. Love to hear that, Ryan. That looks like it'll be Cookie Carrasco pitching on Sunday. So fingers crossed we get a good start from Cookie then and have something positive to talk about post-game after that game. Ryan, thank you so much. AB, how's it going? Baseball's finally back. Larry, great member on the channel. How's it going? All you guys, appreciate every single one of you. Let's see Rick in here. Rick says, top of the line Mets coverage from a Phillies fan, going to 2 Mets-Phillies games next week in Philly. Rick, thank you so much. I appreciate that support, especially as a Phillies fan. You know I have been brutal against the Phillies, biasly to an extent, throughout the offseason, so I appreciate that support. It really does mean a lot. Awesome that you're going to Philly. I would love to go to one of those games in Philly next week. Probably won't be able to because I will be out for the majority of this weekend, as is going to the game on Friday with Scherzer pitching, and then still might be out of town. So I don't know when I'm going to be in Philly yet. I will be in it plenty, however, throughout the season. So definitely look out for me for when I announce on the community tab and on Twitter and stuff that I'll be going to games. But again, appreciate the donation a lot, Rick. I'm looking forward to the heated battles between the two at least rivals. And I really, really love and admire that rivalry. I love that there's animosity. If the Phillies weren't here, I would honestly be sad. And I say that, I mean that wholeheartedly. I love rivalries. It's one of my favorite things about sports. I love animosity. Phillies and Mets still bring it no matter where they are in the standings. That definitely gets me pumped up. So, Rick, appreciate the donation, the support again, my friend. Really does mean a lot. Josh, the $5 donation. Wife, a Mets fan, watching TV upstairs. Me, Braves fan, watching downstairs. Crazy night in this house for you. Good luck this year. Good luck to you too, Josh. Not too much good luck, I'm going to biasly say, given the fact that you're a Braves fan, but rooting on for your wife well. I'm sure that it's fun between you two to be so into, of course, baseball, but rival teams. I'm sure that's definitely fun to butt heads with each other and throw some jokes, especially with having bragging rights, with depending on who's in front. And the Braves just won the World Series, so you have all the bragging rights in the world between the two right now, for being honest. So, Josh, appreciate the donation a lot. Thank you so much for that, buddy. Really, really does mean plenty. Okay. Did I miss any? I don't believe I did. So I'm going through the chat a little bit further here. Ryan with another $2 donation. Thank you so much again for that, Ryan. I'm also going to the Mets home opener. You be there? Sadly, Ryan, I will not be there. I have a family wedding that I'll be attending that weekend. So just the timing just isn't right for me for going to any Mets games in Citi Field relatively soon. But hopefully as we get into May and June, I'll definitely be showing my face up there plenty. Ryan, appreciate the donation a lot, my friend. Everyone that's going to opening day, home opener at least, make sure to let me know. I hope you guys have a fantastic time. And again, appreciate everyone being in here, folks. I'm going to get a lot of your questions because, like I said, this is going to be extended live stream today. If you're watching in replay, then you're either seeing that's upwards of 2 hours long, or I cut it down to maybe a half hour or something. I just want to really just break down and share our raw emotions. Enjoy this together, Mets and overall baseball fans. We waited so long. What a hellish type offseason we had. For me as a content creator, it definitely wasn't fun trying to figure out ways to do content still and get proper viewership when no one wanted to watch. No one has interest in something like this, that being, of course, with what transpired with the lockout. So I'm grateful to be in this position. I'm grateful to be talking with every single one of you. And I'm very excited to get into this matchup. So as we see here, Mets, McGill versus Corbin tonight. Let's go Corbin. Not let's go Corbin. Let's go McGill, I should say. I just threw a jinx in there. So if the Mets lose, you know why. It's going to probably happen with my luck. But jokingly, getting into game 2, Scherzer versus Gray. I cannot wait to see that happen. I can't wait to attend there. I can't wait to be there. Praying everything goes right. That's going to be such an electric game, especially Mad Max back in DC. That's going to be nuts. And people, let me know in the chat, guys, did Scherzer pitch in DC at all last year when he got traded to the Dodgers? Because I think they matched up before. I don't know if Scherzer returned to DC yet, however, or that game was in LA. So can someone please let me know? I really appreciate it. Game 3, Chris Bassett versus to be determined. I'm sure we'll find out over the next 24 to 48 hours who game 3 pitchers will be. But just from what I've seen, I haven't seen it solidified yet. Same thing with game 4 for the Nationals. I know that for the Mets, at least it'll be Cookie Carrasco. He did once. Okay, so it won't have the same type of feel as it would have if it was his first time back in DC, but it'll still be a big deal. And I know Nats fans are going to make a big deal out of it, rightfully so. So yeah, it's definitely going to be crazy. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, I love JD Davis. I love Alonso tonight. I was looking up stats because I knew that JD always had great numbers against Corbin, which warranted him in the lineup tonight. But 862 slugging is just absurd against one singular pitcher. That's literally the best numbers against like any pitcher in all the MLB. Like actually crazy. Because I'm going to tell you guys right now, look, JD Davis, to break it down slightly further here, and you can get this on wishanalytics.com. Thank you for the source here. And 29 at-bats JD Davis has had against Patrick Corbin in his career. He has 10 hits. He has 10 hits, and he has 3 doubles, 4 home runs, 3 walks, a 345 average, a 406 on base, and an 862 slugging. Pete Alonso in 34 plate appearances in his career against Patrick Corbin, and 30 at-bats. 10 hits as well. He has 4 home runs, 4 walks, a 333 average, a 412 on base, and an 800 slugging. Starling Marte has some decent stats against Corbin in his career too, including a 269 average, a 321 on base, and a 346 slugging. So nothing absurd, but just kind of normal Marte numbers actually. There's some other guys in the mix here too. Francisco Lindor doesn't have bad numbers in 15 at-bats throughout his career against Corbin from last season. A 333 average, a 333 on base, and a 400 slugging. But out of all the Mets options right now, it is quite literally led by JD Davis and Pete Alonso for basing things off history to this point. Let's see. What's on July 2nd? What are we saying here in the chat, guys? Oh, was that when the game was last year? Is that what you're referring to, Thomas? Okay. Now let's talk about the guys to watch from the national side, because we all know Juan Soto. I mean, I'm always going to put him there, but we all know how lethal Juan Soto is. Will I be surprised in the slightest if Juan Soto kills the Mets this series? No, I will not. And will I even be fazed by it if Juan Soto kills the Mets this series? I mean, other than being in attendance and potentially seeing him kill us, I'm really not going to be fazed. You know what to expect when you face the best hitter in baseball. Doesn't matter who's on the mound. Doesn't even matter if it's Jake or if it's Max. The best pitchers in baseball still get bested by the best hitters in baseball. So Juan Soto, I'm expecting an awesome series from him. If they don't get it, then man, oh man, that's going to be a huge plus for the Mets. I expect plenty of walks regarding him too. Then you have Nelson Cruz, just because boomstick, it doesn't matter if this guy can be 50 and he's still going to hit home runs off of you. I expect plenty of a strong series from Nelson Cruz should he play in the majority of the series, because who knows if he'll necessarily be playing every game out of the 4-game set or not. And then there's 2. Cesar Hernandez it's definitely my 4th option because he has extensive experience against the Mets playing for the Philadelphia Phillies. But you got to go with Maikel Franco. Mets actually showed interest in Franco to a certain extent last offseason before he then signed as a starter with the Orioles. Did not have a good year in Baltimore last year. Signed with the Nationals now, and given the fact that their current roster and their horrendous infield status, he's their starting third baseman. But Franco is quite literally one of the biggest Mets killers in all baseball right now. He has 20 home runs and 58 RBIs in only 71 games career-wise against the New York Mets. He has a ridiculous OPS, especially in Citi Field. We're not in Citi Field, so that's a plus at least. But yeah, Franco, no matter who he's with, even last season when he was with the Orioles, had good numbers against the Mets in those, 4 games that the Mets saw the Orioles last year. So Franco, definitely a big guy to keep an eye on. Doesn't matter where he's at in his career. He's always going to be a Mets killer. So those are really my 1, 2, and 3. And really getting into this series and wrap things up as a whole for my people on replay, at least, that's probably where we're going to cut things off. Again, if you're live, stay in the chat, guys. I'm just doing this for the people on replay. But this is where we're going to cut things off. Make sure to chime in for the post-game coverage tonight and throughout basically every game throughout the season here on WardyNYM.